Alright, how's it going, everyone? I am going to be just kind of running through some market analysis and we're going to do some charting. Alright, cool. We had some interesting action in futures throughout the day, pretty much just in a downtrend. This level, let me back out a little bit. Price didn't quite get to, but was only a couple dollars away from this COVID low support. As you can see from here, support here, here, and then we had a couple bear traps in here. And then price got pretty close to it today. I ended up taking a little position in here. Figured it's good risk reward, as I can always just get out if it undercuts this, and it looks like we're going to have another drawdown. And lots of huge names that killed the earnings tonight, like Apple and Google. Both have pretty outstanding earnings reports. I think Google's up. I know Apple's down. I was just looking at this, which is odd because they're, after earnings like that, you would expect the stock to be up at least 5% in after hours. So something to be a little more cautious of in the market. Google is up. Google is holding some gains. I thought Apple's earnings were a bit better than Google's even, but the market says otherwise. But they both killed it either way. I know we do have some big names tomorrow too. Here are the ones that are going to be reporting before the open. Shopify, which I believe just did an offering. Pfizer, Boeing, Spotify, McDonald's. And then we still have some other names to look forward to, like Amazon on Thursday and a few others. Facebook is tomorrow. That must be after the bell then. Oh, yep. Here's that $10 billion shelf offering. Throw this back over here. Let's see what IBD has to say about the day. Alright, not sure why that's not quite loading. Alright, I'm thinking about kind of trying to figure out some sort of a nice relative strength scan for down days. I kind of started one here. It's definitely not what I want, but it's just kind of a starting point. Basically just showing me stocks that were up on the day. Could probably put in there. Let me do this actually. Change the scan up a little bit so that price is above a rising 5-day moving at, or actually this is percentage away. Hang on. This is the one I want. And we'll see. We have 98 names right now. That cut out about 30 of them. So I narrowed down about 600 stocks to about 60 right off the bat. I might just kind of quickly scroll through these at some point here. China stocks are tumbling. I'm thinking about picking up Leaps right now just because, there's that old Warren Buffett saying, buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. And people are definitely extremely fearful on China stocks right now. I've kind of had them off my radar, not because I personally thought to take off all China stocks from my list. They've just been underperforming. But now that everybody's talking about them and how bad they're doing, that makes me want to pick up a longer term position. But we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. Big growth versus little growth. What the heck? I don't know why that's reloading. Alright, let me jump to stock charts here. We can kind of take a look at the sector performance today. Not sure why my internet is. It's normally lightning quick when I'm not streaming, and it's normally slightly slower when I'm streaming. Alright. End of day. Utilities and real estate. Taking the lead here, we got communication services and consumer discretionary. Consumer staples did all right, though. I know Mattel did really good. Oh, that's not staples, sorry, but I was looking at this tobacco chart pretty recently. Let's take another look. Wow. Let's see, this is from today. 47 up to 53. Almost a 10% gain total there. From the lows to highs, that is. Let's see what happened in tech. Computer services, software a little laggy today. It's been outperforming quite a bit recently. Semiconductors got hit a little hard today. Let's see what held up the computer services names here. So it's kind of a mix of small, mid, and large caps that did. I guess not really any large caps did well, but as far as which ones didn't do well, it's kind of a solid mix right there. Wow, C Limited got hit today. All right. Might kind of be changing the scan up a little bit throughout the stream. I'm not going to be on for that long, but just kind of want to run through a few names. Maybe I'll run Scanner 2 and TrendSpider here, actually. All right, cool. We can take a look at, let's start off with SPY here. Let me know if you have any charts you want me to kind of take a look at. All right, let's jump back to the daily. I think it ended up with less than 1% down today. Oh yeah, it closed off of the lows here. This is kind of a trend line I've been watching for a while from the late October lows working its way up. Got rejected here again. Very similar trend line on the actual SPX index name as well. So we closed a bit off of the lows, which is a good sign. Earnings had me a little nervous. We'll see how the futures react tonight. But yeah, pretty odd that, Apple absolutely demolished their earnings, did awesome. And it still moved down after hours. Just kind of gives me another reason to be a little extra cautious going through the rest of the week. I know we get the Fed FOMC tomorrow also. Get rid of some of these old ones here. Might be able to have a steep line right about here too. See how that plays out. 8 and 34 EMA is expanding a little bit here. Let's see where our first projected target is. About 442.26. So if we break to the upside, that would be a nice area to look for resistance anyway. Although if it takes a little ways, it might kind of end up happening where these two lines converge right here. HCMP was looking very interesting. I was watching this one today. If we look out on the daily, it had a breakout and retest of this long-term wedge here. Had a bit of a dip under here today. Not much selling volume though. Let's take a look at the raindrop chart, kind of see where that volume came in. Not that it was any significant volume, but I just like to see it. Makes me feel better when it's got a nice green candle right there. Speaking of which, actually, there's a pretty cool scan in here. Oops, I don't know why that happens sometimes. It shows up as a tiny little box right next to the watch list instead of full size for some reason. Wow, XPEV was down 15% today. That's wild. Some healthcare names at the top here. That's just my weekly watch list anyway. Alright, there's a balloon breakout scan that I kind of always forget about. I'm not sure what it would be called exactly. I might have to look into that. Just quickly scan through here, see if I can find it. If not, then I'll run a different one. Mr. Blue Doji. Interesting. Alright. Check out a squeeze breakout here. Run the scan. Disney was on my weekly watch list. Yeah, solid relative strength. Still under this large gap up anchored VWAP. It's kind of a level, maybe I'll just set an alert there. Still has this descending blue trend line right here, but MCD, that's McDonald's, I believe. They're doing earnings tomorrow morning. Already moving on that. And those are the only two squeeze breakout names today. Just interesting. Should start a make myself a watch list with names that have a high probability of running into earnings. I don't think I would put this one on there, but it did this time. Amazon took a nice hit today. Earnings Thursday. Kind of see how it reacts off of this line here. Might be worth a quicker trade. I don't really hold through earnings unless I have very far out dated calls or spreads. Or I can take this one off of the list. I sold mine into the breakout. Or I guess a breakout of this little range right here. I think I must have bought it right on the support here. Alright, let's take a look. Kind of looking at some material names on my other screen here, sorry. Just save that one for now. Not sure I quite like the scan yet, but it's a work in progress. Have to see how it works when the market really gets crushed. AMD had decent earnings. It's up about 3% too. Gold is still under a bunch of key levels, caught under the 21 EMA today. It's kind of been off of my radar for a while. I've barely looked at it since around this range. Could probably do something like this here. Make this top of the channel. Find some key supports here. So there is kind of a rough support resistance right here. Got resistance, resistance, false breakout, resistance, resistance, support, and we'll see. RSI doesn't look too bad on the weekly for gold. I guess if the left side of this was looking, if this didn't look so slappy, I would say it could be a nice looking cup and handle pattern right here, but I guess you could do it right here. This would be your handle, maybe. A little wonky, but Costco is still ripping. Skills got hit big today too. Closed a bit off of the lows. I've been kind of watching it to try and find a place to buy some leaps. I picked up one today right here. But I'm just starting off really small because I don't want to buy the amount that I want to buy and have it break this trend line here. But we'll see. Let's run some other scans in TrendSpider before I head back to TC2K. Bullish channel pullback. I kind of have all of my plans for what I want to trade already, planned out. So when I do these streams at night, I don't really have necessarily a clear goal or necessarily something I'm trying to accomplish with these. I'm just charting, getting a good feel for the market, kind of keeping a close eye on which sectors are doing well, which names are doing well, which ones aren't, that sort of thing. Just kind of reading, researching, that sort of thing. Most of my more in-depth work that I don't really like to stream because I tend to get distracted and I'm not quite as focused, I think. Although I am brand new at doing these streams, so it kind of throws my focus off a little bit as far as research goes. But I'm getting used to it a little bit more anyway. Avir. It's a decent ATR. This RSI looks pretty nice right here. I'm not sure what the stock is. Oh, it's a pharma company. It was almost at 100, dropped down to 20 in the span of 3 months. Well, I IPO'd at, what, 28? That's odd. Didn't really start getting volume until right about here, right at the IPO price. Interesting. I'll add this one to my master list. I don't think it's on there. Looks interesting. Say there's probably rough support right around here. Or probably put something in there like that. Throw this VWAP on there. So price is still 5 to 6% away from this harder resistance at the IPO open. And from the swing high anchored VWAP, it's 19% away. Could be an interesting name. It's kind of an interesting chart. It's like a reverse cup and handle, which is not a bullish pattern, but or this could just be stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, and then we're back to 1 here before we make another leg higher. Let's try this 834 EMA crossover on the 65-minute scan. So we get a decent amount of names today. Not sure how many bars back I have this go. It's like a potential just test right here, pretty much. Still under the 200. I want to edit this scan a little bit. I'm going to do that over here. Just a bit faster. Alright, I'm sure I already have one. 834. 65-minute. Do that within the past 5 bars, let's say. And price greater than, let's say, $6. Volume over 350,000. And optionable. Cool. So, let me take off this. I'll leave the 5-day on, actually. Just make it a little lighter. So this yellow line here is the 8 EMA. The blue line right here is going to be the 34. So it looks like it crossed kind of up and down a little bit here. Crossed down in after hours. little sloppy here too with Piton. It's kind of a rough trend line there, but throwing right there too. This one's looking a little interesting. It's still under a declining 5-day, but Revolve. One looks good. Still kind of just choppy price action. RSI is not too exciting right now. I would want it to break this trend here. Oh, whatever. Pen. Down about 50% from the highs. Looking a little better off the lows, but still well under all key moving averages. Some crossed over in after hours here. Under a declining 5-day as well. Let me take a look at just these names here. PennyMac. This is kind of why I've stayed away from this one. There's definitely moves you can capture in here. And I keep seeing this name whenever I read it. The Investors Business Daily really likes them. Could be forming some kind of some sort of bowl shape here. We'll see. Still under many key levels though. Not interested at the moment. Ego still same thing. Microsoft. They had earnings tonight, right? Yeah, they had good earnings. I think all the main names beat. Apple and Google both beat by a lot. Really impressive numbers. Apple's growth in earnings growth in America was pretty staggering too. So we got Google, AMD, and Microsoft that all moved up on their earnings reports. Apple, although it was the one that I was the most impressed with, even over Google, Apple is down still a bit. Yeah, it closed at about 146.85, and it's still moving down after hours. It's had some wild swings. I don't know if price actually got down here, if this is just a blip on the radar. But I know this was an actual move that happened. Just kind of watching this unfold here. P-Town looks kind of interesting in this wedge here. I'm going to add this one to my weekly list just to keep an eye on. How did some of these other growth names act today? Roku had a pretty nasty candle, big volume, but decent close off of the lows. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like that with a lot of these names. That's how SPY and SPX was. Same thing in DocU, but not nearly as much volume or change in volume compared to Roku. What other names have been ripping recently? Twilio is one of my favorites. Options aren't great, unfortunately. I'm not a big fundamental guy, or I'm not big on jumping into names because I'm a big fan of their company and what they do. I'm, 90% technical, so I really don't care about what they do. Like, I'll trade eBay, and I don't think anybody uses eBay anymore. Apparently they do, but you get my point. But Twilio is definitely one that caught my eye. I have some Twilio heavy ETF in my retirement account. Closed right above the 21 EMA today. It's a good sign. Nice close off the lows once again. What else am I missing? What names have been ripping? Let's see, Netflix didn't do much. Facebook's doing great. Facebook moved up after hours. Their earnings isn't until tomorrow evening. Oh, Facebook moves with Google. So this probably moved when Google reported their earnings, would be my guess. Bit of a divergence here, but this is after hours. RSI tends to be a little wonky in after hours. Divergences from after hours data tend to break so much that it's not even worth noting unless it's followed through by actual market hour data in the RSI. From what I've found, see if any of these names catch my eye here. These are all smaller names. Lots of healthcare names. As we saw, I think there were the utilities that was number one today. Healthcare was 2 or 3. I think real estate was doing good. Yeah, utilities, real estate, and then healthcare. Yeah, healthcare's been on a tear. Had a nice bounce off the 55 EMA right here. This is the XLV. Accumulation looking good. This sector rating here is looking awesome. Let's take a look at those. I downgraded my stock charts recently. I wasn't using it enough, so now I only have my default list. Whoops. Of course, the same week I downgrade is when I want to start using the features. But I got rid of that because I've been using this a lot more. Medical supplies. ISRG. So part of me that just kind of wants to stay away from names like this because I'm like, oh, it just chops. Like it's been chopping, and like if you bought this stock in January of 2018, you would be up 2% right now. But I mean, I'm a short-term swing trader. The stock looks awesome for me, you know? It's got like wild 20%, 15%. It's got a 20%. All these giant moves in just the span of a month or two. Kind of interesting. Been kind of thinking about maybe I'll start right now. Making a watch list of names that tend to have like they're range bound or have some really solid support or resistance lines that I would feel very comfortable sizing up on a trade off of those. Yeah, let's just call it range bound. Does Netflix go in there? Yeah, Netflix goes in there for sure. How's Neo holding up? Down about 9% today, same with XPEV. Tesla was down about, what, 3 or 4%? Tesla had good earnings from what I hear, though. I'm not sure how closely that company's tied in with China, but maybe that has something to do with why it's not moving on earnings. NIO looks like it's kind of hanging out around the 200. Let's take a look at materials. Yeah, gold was up today. I was reading a little bit about it in my Twitter feed throughout the day. Specialty chemicals. Yeah, some of these names have been doing awesome lately. Ecolab. I'm very familiar with this company. Pretty sure every restaurant in Grand Rapids uses Ecolab. Or I would say at least 70% do. At least everyone that I've worked at here uses this same company. Or lumber and wood production. We'll just put that in there for later. Alright, unless there's any tickers you want me to take a look at, I'm going to get out of here in just a minute. Gonna do a little reading and head to bed shortly here. FMX has earnings tomorrow. Look at this range. That's 7.5 years of just constant 20% swing up, 20% swing down, 30% up, 20 down. I wonder how many people find a stock like this that's just in this range and that's just all they trade. I mean, think about it. You get stopped out maybe once here, and then once here. Say if you go long at this level every time, roughly. All right. I'm getting tired. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good one. Thanks for joining.